Hello, good morning everyone. So I'm James Murray, I'm from Microsoft, and I'm here to talk to you about unlocking the potential of search, because search is a phenomenal tool right now, and it is very, very good, but I still think that actually we've got so much more to come from search, and the potential that it offers for the future is phenomenal. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the future today. Now I want to kick off and say that we're in a bit of a bad place at the moment, but we've also got a phenomenally exciting opportunity. The future at the moment, I feel, is being inhibited by a lack of imagination. If you think about where we are in our sort of evolution and the progress that we're making, technology has always been the inhibitor to what we want to achieve. So if you think about it, probably for most of the last 600 years, we've always had, these fantastic thoughts and these great ideas, and our imaginations are boundless. We've been having these brilliant ideas about what we want to achieve, but technology just hasn't been there to be able to realize our ideas and our ambitions. Now, we've got the opposite. The technology that we have and that we possess today is so advanced and so good and so clever that we haven't thought of ways yet to be able to actually make the most of it. And so until we get that spark of imagination, we're always going to be not using the potential that the technology affords us. And we've got that problem with search. At the moment, if you think about it, search, as I say, I think it's phenomenal, but it could be so much more. And when you think about search, really, we haven't progressed that much further than a box and 10 blue links. Ultimately, search is just a glorified yellow pages or telephone directory, and it could be so much better. But if you want to do that, and if you want to move beyond that idea of a box and 10 blue links, then you're going to have to start thinking outside of the search bar. At Microsoft and Bing, that's where I'm from, we are thinking about search in a very different way. And if you want to think outside the box, then that's what we are all about.
This little box put everything you ever wanted to know right at your fingertips. But you don't live in a box. You live out here, where you need to know how far to run to burn off that dessert, which one says restaurant and which one says restroom, or how you can create a last-minute dinner with what's in your fridge. At Microsoft, we're evolving Bing to deliver information where you need it, when you need it, sometimes even before you need it. Bing is becoming more than just a search engine. It's powering the things we use every day. It's here, even here. Because your life doesn't fit in a box. Neither should your search.
All right. So when we think about search, and there are sort of three pillars which at the focus of what we want Bing to be. We want search, and we want Bing to be personalized. So we want it to be able to offer you something which is absolutely relevant to you. We want it to be intuitive. So we want search to be more than just you searching for something. We want our search engine to be able to be a connector of information, but we also want it to be able to anticipate the things that you need and give you information before you actually know that you want to ask for it. And ultimately, Microsoft is a company which is built on productivity. We want search to make you more productive at work and at play. And I'm going to show you some examples of how search is currently failing us in these three things. And then I'm going to show you the exciting bit of the presentation, which is where we see search evolving and where we've got sort of 1 foot forward into the future about how search is changing, and also some of the things that we're doing to make it more personal, more intuitive, and make you more productive. So I want to tell you a couple of stories, and this is the first one. Both of these stories are absolutely true, and as all the best stories are. Does anybody know what this is? Or has anyone seen this picture? It did rounds on Facebook a couple of months ago. Do you know what it's called?
I can't remember the name of it now, but I like the idea.
Yeah, I love the idea as well. Okay, so this is why search is failing us, and I'll sort of tell you the story. So I saw this picture on Facebook. A friend of mine posted this, and she hinted rather vigorously and none too subtly that actually this would be a great gift for her birthday. Now, I should point out at this stage that my friend does not have kids of her own. She's 28 years old, but she wanted this for her birthday, a slide to put indoors in the stairs. So, like any good friend, I thought, yeah, sure, why not? I'll go and have a look. I'll see if I can just scope this out. How much is it going to cost me to buy this thing? Now, the problem is that because I don't know what the product is, and just like this gentleman said, he couldn't remember what the name was, it's actually very difficult to find something if you don't actually know what you're searching for. So this is how my search journey went. So I went, okay, well, look, it's a step, or rather, it's a slide for the stairs. So I'm going to search for step slide. Now the first thing, and I have to caveat this, I did this on both search engines, Bing and that other one that people seem to like. Both were equally crap. Now, so the first thing I searched for step slide, and I was given a result for something which was completely the wrong thing. I was given a results page which was all about non-slip step aerobics equipment, which is completely nothing to do with what I was asking for. So I went back to the search engines and went for a second iteration and went, okay, not step slide, I want to search for, it's a toy, so step slide toy. This got me a little bit closer, but actually the results were not what I was looking for. This time I got results for kids' garden slides. So, okay, it's a slide, it's got that, but it's in the garden, and actually that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an inside slide. So back to the search engine I go. Next search, indoor slide for stairs. Now this is where I got to my first result, which actually gave me the object that I was looking for. Unfortunately, that was a result for the Daily Mail, and therefore I got the result, whee! Clever fold-up mat turns stairs into slides. So I clicked on the Daily Mail article reluctantly, read through, and it was here that I found out that the actual name of the product was called the Slide Rider. So, bearing in mind I want to try and buy this, remember, so the news article isn't going to help me with that, so back to the search engine. When I buy something, inevitably I want to go to Amazon, so I typed in Slide Rider Amazon. Now, Amazon didn't actually stock this item, and so they tried to offer me something completely different, which was a slip and slide surf rider, a completely different object, not what I was looking for at all. So in my frustration, finally, back for a fifth time to the search engine, I typed in slide rider. Imagine my dismay when the result that I got was this. We've finished the designs, but that's just one step on the journey of making a product. Please check back for updates on manufacturing. So I went through this entire process just to get to the conclusion that this product doesn't exist. It's just a prototype. Now, my point is that it's not about the various sort of search steps that I made. You could have made that journey and got to that result in fewer steps. But the point is that search shouldn't be that hard. And I'm often reminded when I tell this story about Good Will Hunting, the film with Robin Williams and Matt Damon. And there's a moment where Robin Williams, as the counselor, is just saying, it's not your fault. And Matt Damon is reluctantly sort of saying, yeah, I know it's not my fault. You know, I think we have this with search. We feel that whenever we're doing something, we don't get where we want to. We always say, oh, it's my fault. It's something wrong with me. It's not. It's not your fault. It's the fault of the search engines. And this is not a problem with Bing, it's not a problem with Google, it's not a problem with Yahoo or any of the other search engines out there, it's a problem with search. Because we should be able to take you from searching from step slide directly to the answer that says, if you want to buy this thing, you're going to have to wait because it's not currently available. Actually, what should happen in an ideal world is I shouldn't even have to do that. All I should do is be able to look at that picture and say, go and find me that. Where can I buy that? And the search engine does all of the work in the background, and then it just gives you the answer. That's what we want. That's what we should be getting from search, and that's definitely not what we're getting at the moment. We have to go through this iterative process, which is inefficient, it's not a good experience, and actually, it's just not very clever. Now, I want to tell you another story, another true story also. So one of the problems that we have, if the first problem is it's not that easy to search for stuff if you don't know what it's called. One of the other problems we have is that if we don't know that something exists, if we don't even know that there's information out there which can help us, then we're equally stuck. So I like going to the cinema, and so I went to the cinema recently with my wife. We went to see the new X-Men film. Came out a couple of months ago. Now, one thing you should know about my wife is that she's a very slight lady, and what that means is that, unfortunately, she has the bladder control of a 5-year-old, and so regularly she has to get up to go to the toilet, which is very frustrating for me because often she has to move past me in order to get there and interrupts the film. So, we're in the cinema. We're about 45 minutes into the film, and sure enough, my wife has to go to the toilet. So I reluctantly let her go past. Before she does that, though, there's an unusual sort of change in her behavior. So rather than her just sort of getting up and going at a random time, I hear her counting down in her head. So she says, 10, 9, 8, 7, has a quick check on her phone, and then goes to the toilet. So 3 minutes later, she comes back, and I'm there, and I'm saying, as a dutiful husband, don't worry, darling, you haven't missed anything significant in the film. And her answers kind of shocked me, because she then whispered back to me, don't worry, darling, I know. I was perplexed by that until I learned she downloaded an app which told her exactly when to take a tactical piss in the middle of the film. This app is a real app. You can download it from Windows Phone Store and the other two. It's called the Run P app, which I thought was quite funny. Basically what it does is it catalogues in the middle of each film when are the best times for you to go for a piss, so that you're not going to miss anything which is a crucial part of the story. And if you are going to miss anything, it will tell you the key points as you're actually in the toilet. Now, this is a phenomenal app and a great thing for people like my wife who constantly have to miss part of films when they go to the toilet. So she knows now when is the best time to leave. Now, my point is this. How many of you are in a situation where you have a similar problem to I have, or you know somebody who would need to go to the toilet during the middle of a film? Hands up if you know someone like that. A few of you. Okay. Probably more of you if you were actually being honest. How many of you have heard of this app? None of you. And that's exactly my point. If you don't know that information exists, if you don't know that that's available out there, that you can actually harness this information, then of course you're not going to search for it. And that's a real problem. Search should be something which presents you with information which is going to be useful and relevant to you without you necessarily having to ask for it. Because this could solve a lot of people's problems if only they knew it was there. And so we get to this stage where, well, actually what we want is we want to be able to access data at the point of intent. Now, what does that mean? What that means is that basically stuff should just come to you wherever you happen to be. Now, for most of us in this room, I imagine that a lot of us are spending most of our time logged into email because work runs on email. So who said and who made the argument that said that the web or search only can exist within a browser, an internet browser, or through an app? What should happen is that if I'm spending most of my time on email, I should be able to get the web and should get search to work for me in the place where I'm already at. So this is an example. This is not a true story because my boss wouldn't send me this email, but for legal reasons, I wasn't allowed to use a picture of my wife. So this is my boss sending me an email saying, hey, do you want to go and see the war on drugs at Coco next week? My friend's pulled out and I've got a spare ticket. Now, in this hypothetical situation, if I don't know, if I've never heard of that band, the war on drugs, and I hadn't until I did this presentation, how am I supposed to respond to that? Well, typically what I'll do is I'll boot up an app, like maybe Wikipedia, or I'll have to go to the internet to go into a browser to find information on that. And why should I do that? What should happen is the information should come to me. So within the email, Bing should be able to recognize, and we are starting to sort of do this, can recognize sort of items which are put in within the text and say, war on drugs, okay, well, I can give you some information on that. They're a band, and they're quite similar to another band that you like, which is Beck. So maybe this would be a good band to go and see. And if I didn't know where Coco was, for instance, it could also say, well, Coco is a place in Camden. And so if you need to get home, we can give you an idea. It will probably take you about 40 minutes to get back to Chiswick from Camden. This information should come to me seamlessly. I shouldn't have to go hunting around for it. That's the point that we want. And this is where we're thinking slightly differently about search. Now, there's a thing called the Turing test. Hands up if you've heard of this. Few of you, more than normal, which is great. Okay. So there was the father of modern computing, Alan Turing, massively brainy guy, huge intellect, phenomenal guy. He was one of the people who helped to crack the Enigma code. He was also one of the first people to start writing computer code. He said in the 1950s, early 1950s, that at some point in time, and he estimated it would be by the year 2000, we would be able to have a machine that would be so clever that when a person was having a conversation with that machine, it literally wouldn't be able to tell the difference if it was talking to a human or a machine. Now, we haven't got there yet, so the estimate is a little bit out, but we are getting really close. So the key point here is that what we want is we want search to be something which is more intuitive, but we also want it to be that personalized thing. We want to have an interaction with a search engine. We want it to be able to feel like we're talking to another human being. So, like I said, we haven't got there yet, but we are getting close. Now, what I'm going to show you here is a video of something which Microsoft Research did and something we launched in China. So you'll see it's a conversation which is in Chinese. Don't worry, we've got subtitles. What you're going to see, though, is a conversation between three people. One's called Tom, one's called Jerry, and the other one is called Zhao Ice. I don't know why we picked a really tricky name for the third one, but anyway. Now, Zhao Ice is a robot. He's a robot who's been programmed and uses the machine learning technologies that we have at Microsoft to have a conversation with these people. And what you're going to see is that they're talking very naturally in a way they're talking about the weather, they're talking about their films, they're talking about their love life, they're talking about things which we all talk about. And I just want you to see how natural the interactions are. And remember that the robot has not been prompted by any sort of human interaction. This is all just done by algorithms. So I appreciate for some of you at the back, you might not have picked up on all of the nuances of what was going there. So let me explain very quickly what happened. So one of the key things is that the robot there was interacting with them and reacting to what they were saying just as a normal person would. So when they said, "Have you seen this film?" he'll say, "Oh yeah, did you know that this actress was in it?" And then the robot then finds the picture of the actress and then gives them the information as well about the fact that she's married to some foreigner and how his heart was broken by that. That, to me, is a pretty natural sort of human interaction that we're having there. This program, incidentally, was launched a few months ago in sort of May this year. It was the first robot to ever go viral in WeChat. It's now had, I think, 1.5 billion interactions with humans in just about 6 months, which is pretty amazing. Okay, so what we want in an ideal situation, in terms of the future, what are we thinking about? We want there to be a search engine which works for us, which is giving us the information which we need, which is thinking ahead and giving us stuff which we haven't necessarily asked for. But we also want it to be something which is helping us in a personalized way and feeling like we're having that sort of that human interaction. And the thought behind that is what's enabled us to launch Cortana. Now, Cortana is a personal assistant which sits on your phone and helps you with your everyday sort of day-to-day life. But she's also very sort of human, there's a very human element to her. So unlike Google Now, which is a bit sort of mechanical, but also in a much more intelligent way than, say, Siri, Cortana is somewhere in between. Now, this is always the bit that I'm worried about, because I've never successfully managed to do this completely in a presentation. What I'd like to do is try and give you a quick demo of Cortana and show you just some of the things that she's capable of. So give me 2 seconds whilst I try and do this. If not, I do have a video to back up if necessary. Okay, this is a fantastic result so far. Okay, so what you've got here, this is my actual phone. This is a projection of my phone, and it's giving you what is that pinging noise? That might be something to do with the microphone. Okay, I might have to hold it out here. So this is my phone. Cortana sits here on the phone, and then you can see that what she does immediately is she'll start getting things ready. So on here, as I sort of scroll down, Cortana knows stuff about me, and she's giving me ideas of stuff that I might want to try. So she's making recommendations here of restaurants which I might like based on stuff which I've searched for previously and based on stuff which I've told her. So if I also scroll down here, she's giving me newsfeed information and stuff which I've said that I'm interested in. So iPhone 6, for example, is something I'm particularly interested in. She gives me information which is curated automatically from the web and presented in a nice, easy way. So what I want to do is to give you an idea of some of the things which Cortana is able to do and give you a sort of a day in the life of what this looks like. So first thing, if I wake up in the morning, I want to know, basically how I'm going to get ready for the day. So Cortana can help me with that. Do I need an umbrella today? Oh dear. Okay, we'll try one more time. This might be a web issue. If not, I'll go to the video demo. Do I need an umbrella today?
You shouldn't have to bring one. Here's the forecast.
So here she's, remember, so what part of this is we want a very natural language interaction. So I haven't asked her what's the weather or what's the weather like. I've said, do I need an umbrella? She's interpreted from that what I need. And then she's given me the forecast for the place based on my GPS location, so Reading, and she's told me what the weather's going to be like. So the next thing, if I'm on my way to work, at the moment at Microsoft, we're just going through a whole bunch of reviews. So I want to set a reminder about the next time I speak to my boss. The next time I speak to my boss, remind me to ask him for a pay rise.
Okay, next time you talk to Colin Bracken, I'll remind you to ask him for pay rise. Is that right?
Yes.
I'll remind you.
So the cool thing about this is not only did she know exactly who my boss is, and that's because of the interactions which I've had through email, and all of this is linked to Cortana, she also now reminds me of the very next interaction that I have with him. So it doesn't matter if he gives me a call or if he sends me a text message, or in this case, I'm going to sort of start to write him an email. So if I go into my mail, and then I start writing an email to Colin, it should, there we go, come up with that reminder to ask him for a pay rise. I'm going to delete that now because I wouldn't dare do that right now. Okay, so I've got into work and I'm on a bit of a health regime at the moment, so the next thing that I'm going to ask Cortana to help me with is my eating. So I'm having breakfast. I need to know what is it that I'm actually having. How many calories are in a banana?
There are 105 calories in a serving of banana.
So here, Cortana is surfacing information from the web, but she's also giving me information on stuff which I haven't asked for. So she's given me not only the calories, but she also thinks, well, I might be interested in the fat content and the number of carbs and the number of protein, which actually is something which I'm interested in cutting down in terms of being more healthy. And if I want more information, then I can just click on the link there. It's a bit blurred because it's on the black. But you can see that I'll be able to get more nutritional information from the Bing Health and Food app. Okay, how about something where I'm thinking ahead for dinner? What am I going to cook for dinner tonight? I'm going to ask Cortana for some recommendations. Show me some easy chicken recipes.
Here are the recipes I found.
So I've got 3 options here of stuff which she's deemed to be nice and easy for even the most idiot-proof of recipes. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to come through to the Bing Health and Fitness app, Food and Drink app rather, and there it is. There's the recipe for easy pineapple chicken. And I can see very quickly the ingredients that I need. Here's the steps that I need in order to be able to make that thing. But let's say I'm sort of scanning through this list and I might go, oh shit, oh, oops. Oh dear, I haven't got any pineapple chunks. Cortana can help me out with that as well. So I go back. Next time I'm at a Tesco's, remind me to pick up pineapple chunks.
When would you like to be reminded?
Let's try that again. Next time I'm at a Tesco's, remind me to pick up pineapple chunks.
When should I remind you?
One more time. She always gets nervous in front of a crowd, that's the problem. When I do this on my own, it's perfect. Next time I'm at a Tesco's, remind me to pick up pineapple chunks.
Okay, remind you when you get to Tesco's. There's a Tesco Express on 12 Tilehurst Road in Reading. Is this the one you want?
So I'm going to click on that one and then I'm going to set the reminder. So what she's done
remind
there
you.
Is, apart from the fact she doesn't know how to say Reading, I should also caveat, this is still in beta, so there are a few kinks to be worked out. But what she's done is she's taken the GPS location of where I am now, then she's located where's the closest Tesco's to here, and then she said, okay, if you want to go to that one, I can remind you when you walk into that Tesco store to pick up pineapple chunks. So now, in exactly the same way as I demoed with the stuff to my boss, if I were to walk into a Tesco's, that particular Tesco's, or if I could have set it to any Tesco's. So next time I walk into any Tesco's, remind me that I need to pick up pineapple chunks. Okay, so I'm a bit of a sports fan, so thinking ahead now to the weekend, I want to know who my team are playing. When are Manchester United playing next?
Here is the next game.
So she's very quickly brought up information about my team, so Manchester United. She's told me that we're playing West Ham. She's given me the time and the date, but she's also given me that additional information, as I said, so stuff about like, whether we won. You can't see it very clearly, but who won the last games. And again, if I want more information, I can click through very quickly, and it'll give me all of the latest updates on my team. Okay, so the final thing I want to do, if I've had a long day at work, clearly I want to relax. I'm going to ask Cortana to help me out with that as well. Where can I get a beer near here?
Here are 10 bars and pubs near you.
So she's brought up a list of all of the pubs which are close to me. Which one is the best?
Here are the ones that have good reviews.
So now I've asked her to rank them by the ones which get the best reviews, either through TripAdvisor or Yelp. Or stuff like that. So this is something which is, I think, showing us in all of these examples, what we're doing is we're showing you examples of things where it's very natural language, we're having a conversation with Cortana, and we're getting a bit of her personality. Actually, let me just show you one more, which is a couple of things which are quite quirky to show you that she has got a bit of a personality. She's not just there to give you information. Who's your daddy?
Technically speaking, that'd be Bill Gates. No big deal.
So there you go. So she's not afraid to share her opinion on stuff. And you can start to, as we build this out, we'll be giving people the option to ask lots and lots of things of Cortana. So you'll be able to ask her who's her favorite Doctor Who, for example, or what's her favorite kind of ice cream or stuff like that. But each time we want it to make it as sort of a proper interaction, the kind of thing that you would have with an actual human being. Let's go back into the presentation. Okay, so this is just the start. And the next iteration of this, where we're going with this, is something which is called Project Adam. And what Project Adam is all about, there is a team of people in Microsoft who are solely responsible. Their whole day-to-day life is centered around one topic, and that is to try and catalog every known object in the world. That is no small task, but they're doing a pretty phenomenal job. And what we're going to be able to do, when we're going to be able to get to, is a place where you'll be able to use your phone as a means of object recognition to be able to start doing intelligent searches. So you'll be able to take a picture of something, and it will be able to give you information by recognizing the object. Now, this is something which is not just a fanciful idea. We've actually got it. And so now I want to show you a real example of, in this case, we're looking at being able to recognize the type of dog that is being brought onto the screen.
Oh my. So we thought about using a different dog, this time a little bit more challenging. Let's see if Cortana behaves this time. Cortana, what kind of dog is this?
Could you take a picture for me?
Anyone care to guess what breed of dog this is? Ridgeback? Let's see if Cortana agrees with you.
I believe this is a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to make sure that Adam is all working correctly, we will now try it on a real human being. Cortana, what breed of dog is this?
Could you take a picture for me?
This is probably
I will be the target, yeah.
risky and career limiting, but let's go.
I believe this is not a
Oh, oh my goodness. Thank you, Johnson.
So that is a sneak peek of what's coming. And just for a second, just allow yourself to think of the possibilities of what this technology enables. You could be in a restaurant and you could have a plate of food in front of you, and you could have your phone, you could take a picture of that, and you could ask Cortana to identify what you're eating, and she could say, that looks like a bowl of pasta arrabbiata with extra cheese. That'll be 700 calories that you're about to consume. Or you could have a worrying blemish on your arm. You could take a picture, and Cortana will be able to tell you whether that is cancerous or not, or whether you really need to get down to the doctors. The possibilities of this are mind-boggling. And this is what I mean when I say we're thinking about search in a different way. And we're moving away from thinking about search as that box where you just get those links and you're going from A to B. Search is much, much more than that. So to sum up, here's what I want to leave you with. So I started off by saying that the future is being inhibited by lack of imagination, but I really do truly believe that Microsoft is thinking differently, and we are being imaginative in the way that we're thinking about search and how it's changing. And so we are quite excited about the prospect of what the future holds, and we truly also don't believe that it's only going to be a sort of a one-horse race with Google and with us very much lagging behind. We think all of that is going to change. The three things that we've built Bing on are that we want it to be more personalized, we want it to be more intuitive, and we want it to enable you to be more productive. And some of the things that I've talked through today, so think about some of the problems that we have with not being able to find stuff if I don't know what it's called, with my step slide example, or if you don't know that something exists, how do I even sort of go about finding it? Cortana is going to be able to help you solve some of those problems by giving you stuff without you asking for it, by being able to take away some of those infuriating steps and just give you the answers of the stuff that you're asking for. And it's all going to be done in a way which is going to feel increasingly like a personal interaction. So the final message is that Bing is for you. That's my sort of one plug of the day. If you haven't used Bing, I implore you to give it a go. Increasingly, we're finding that in blind tests, more people actually prefer Bing to Google. And the problem is just getting over that hump of the fact that it is, well, it's a verb, isn't it? So, please do go and try it. And if you have any questions about search, about how we're thinking about search, then please do come and ask me questions. I'll be hanging around a bit. Otherwise, thank you very much, and thank you for being such a great audience.
Thank you. Thank you very much, James. I'm sure you'll agree, a highly engaging, entertaining presentation. Thank you. Are there any questions before we go for the next round tables that anybody has for James?
None. Get one.
Here we go.
Thank goodness. Yes. Great question. So for those of you who didn't hear, what happens if people don't want to be tracked? That is a fantastic question and something we take very, very seriously. So security and privacy is something which is absolutely core to everything we do at Microsoft. And so one of the things which I didn't show you, but I could have showed you with the Cortana thing, is that everything that she learns about you is with your permission. So when you first get this, you can completely opt out of it if you don't want to use it. But we found that most people like to use it in some capacity in the testing. But she keeps a record, a very detailed record of all of the things which you do and all the things you search for and all of the things that she knows about you. So, for example, with the GPS, Cortana monitored me when I was first using this, and she started to realize that on a pretty regular basis I was traveling from Chiswick, which is my home, to Victoria where I work, and then she picked out from the regularity and the times which I was going, and she said, this place that you're going every day, Monday to Friday, seems to be a regular occurrence. Is this your work? And then I confirmed, yes, that's my work. Now, if I don't want her to remember that information, then I have a complete list of all the things that she knows about me, and if necessary, I can tell her to forget that stuff or to not remember it at all. So we are being particularly transparent and open about the stuff which is being captured by this, and you can edit that information at any time so that if you want it to be forgotten, you can do. Yeah?
Is the information would say store on the device or on the Microsoft side? Because one way of solving the problem, which I've seen in the past, is to actually have the information on the device itself. But is that the route that you want to take or not? So, for instance, if I want the system to know what I'm doing, I have the choice of doing that.
Yeah.
Then, because sometimes maybe I want so maybe I want the system to know who I am, but only when I want it to know who I am and where I am.
Yeah, so
I can opt in out all the time.
So I don't know the specific technicalities of exactly where the information is stored, if it's on the device or not. So I don't want to answer that. The key is that you will have complete control over the information which is shared or not shared, and therefore the Cortana will become either more sophisticated or less sophisticated depending on the things that you want her to know or not know. And so we're very keen on that, and we're actually, we're deliberately being a lot more open than some of our other competitors in the market who will just use all of that information and that you don't have control over which bits are shared and which are not.
So how would marketers optimize around that?
I knew you were going to ask that. Somebody always asks me this. So it's fantastic that we get to share all of this cool stuff about what's coming, and then somebody says, okay, well, how do I start advertising on that? The truth is, I'm not allowed at the moment to, sadly, to share the things that we're thinking about in terms of advertising, but all I can say is that we're thinking about it. At the moment, this is a product which is just in beta and is going to be rolled out in the coming months to consumers who've got Windows 8.1 phones. So initially, we want people to just to get to know the product and to use it and hopefully fall in love with it. And then, you know, the advertising thing is something that we're thinking about for the future. But I'm afraid I don't have an update for you on that at the moment. But we are thinking about it. That's all I can say. I'm sorry, that's not a great answer.
We've got time for 2 more questions. Make them good. Go on, John.
Right, well, I've asked you a question on Twitter, so that's #ready.
Okay.
I'm surprised she hasn't told you already.
Yeah, oh, it's only because it's over there, yeah. Sorry, so do you want me to look at it now, or do you? Yeah.
Okay, one more question. Choose, James.
You've had your hand up here, lady in the front. Yes, yes. So for those of you who didn't hear, yes, we are testing it with different accents. So it's brilliant for me and my sort of perfectly southern accent. Of course, it's going to work for me. But we have been very rigorous as well about getting lots of different people in. So one of the beauties, of course, of working for a massive, huge multinational company like Microsoft is that we employ something like 3,000 people in the UK and about 140,000 people worldwide. That gives us a huge pool of people to go and test this with different accents. So you will, if you've got a particularly rich Scottish accent, Scouse accent, Brummie, whatever you are, it will work and it will pick it up. And then, so the next iteration of that will be to roll it out across different languages as well. So at the moment we've got English and Chinese, but in the future we're looking to do this across major European languages as well. Okay.
Okay, I know there are more questions, sorry. We are about to go into the second discussion, roundtable discussion of the day. Before we do that, please give James a warm round of applause. Thank you, James.